1 month into the 2024 NFL season, the Cincinnati Bengals were in freefall with a 1-3 start. Joe Burrow couldn't even push off his back foot. Chase looked more like a decoy than a dominant weapon, and the offense flatlined. National analysts were already asking the question no Bengals fan wanted to hear. Did Cincinnati just waste its Super Bowl window? The truth? It looked bleak. But what followed was one of the NFL's most dramatic pivots in recent memory. A broken team became battle-hardened. A rising core matured into warriors. And as 2025 kicks off, the Bengals aren't underdogs. They're apex predators. Burrow's injury and the fallout.
4 scariest words for a Cincinnati Bengals fan. Joe Burrow carted off. Joe Burrow already wearing a leg brace on his right calf. Then he pulls up lame with a non-contact injury.
The story begins in training camp. Burrow tweaked his calf. Nothing serious at first glance. But that minor strain lingered, reshaping everything. The Bengals kept it quiet, but the truth showed up every Sunday. Burrow couldn't plant, couldn't extend plays, couldn't be Joe Burrow. Through week 4, Burrow ranked dead last among qualified QBs in QBR. Just 182 yards per game, 4 total touchdowns, 5 turnovers, a completion percentage under 60%. The league's most cerebral assassin had been reduced to a shell. Chase voiced frustration in interviews. Higgins struggled with injuries. The offensive line, despite offseason investment, was inconsistent. Even head coach Zac Taylor looked rattled, abandoning aggressive play calling for checkdowns and conservative sets. Worse yet, defenses adapted. Safeties sat on routes. Blitzes came free. The threat of the deep ball vanished. Opponents dared Burrow to beat them, and he couldn't. Week 4, a 27-3 loss to the Titans. Chase had just 1 reception. Burrow barely cracked 150 yards. Fans were furious. The locker room was tense. A team built for February looked lost in October. Then came the Week 5 bye, and everything changed. For the first time, the Bengals faced reality. Burrow wasn't right. The staff built a new game plan. Faster releases, RPOs, short to intermediate tempo, and most importantly, they let Burrow rest. Week 6 versus Seattle was ugly, but it was a win. Burrow's movement improved. The ball came out faster. Chase saw 13 targets, and the defense, fierce. They harassed Geno Smith into mistakes and held the Seahawks out of the end zone. It wasn't pretty football, but it was survival.
It looks like one-on-one, but Hilton is lurking in the area.
4th and goal. Smith, pump. He's dumped!
By week 10, the Bengals were 5-4. Not dominant, but alive. Then came week 11, a primetime matchup against the Ravens. Midway through the second quarter, Burrow uncorked a touchdown pass and immediately clutched his wrist. Cameras showed him trying to grip the ball on the sideline and failing. He was done. The MRI confirmed it. Torn ligament, season over. For a moment, the entire city of Cincinnati held its breath. Enter Jake Browning. No one expected a storybook. Browning was an undrafted journeyman, a clipboard guy, but he didn't flinch. In week 13, with the season on the brink, Browning threw for 354 yards against Jacksonville.
Browning keeps, takes the bigger shot, and he's got Trenton Irwin. 2nd and 10, Browning, he's got his tight end Hudson. And the big man rumbles inside the 20.
Then he led back-to-back 30-plus point outings versus the Colts and Vikings. He played fearless, efficient. He didn't try to replace Burrow. He executed the plan. Quick reads, ball security, spread the love. With Browning steady, the playmakers exploded. Chase averaged 118 yards per game from weeks 13 to 16. Lined up in motion. Took snaps out of the backfield. Zac Taylor finally unlocked the full playbook. Higgins recovered from a nagging rib injury and became the go-to possession guy on 3rd down. Chase Brown, the rookie RB, emerged as a versatile threat. No longer tethered to Joe Mixon, the Bengals used Brown in screens, swing passes, and counters. Andre Iosivas, the 2023 6th-round pick, blossomed into a red zone weapon. 3 touchdowns in December alone. Defense, from liability to asset. coordinator Lou Anarumo deserves flowers. After a shaky start, the Bengals' D stiffened. Trey Hendrickson, top 5 in sacks league-wide. Logan Wilson, defensive captain with 4 interceptions and 3 forced fumbles. Cam Taylor-Britt and Dax Hill turned into a ball-hawking duo, combining for 7 INTs. The Bengals led the league in second-half takeaways from weeks 12 to 18. They weren't just surviving, they were dictating.
Let's go, baby.
Hey!
10, it's a toss to the right, and Mims gets tackled for a 1-yard loss.
Good ass play. Hell yeah.
The playoff push. Despite all odds, the Bengals won 4 of their final 6. Their only losses? A razor-thin OT game versus Kansas City and a last-minute field goal in Pittsburgh. They finished 10-7, a wild-card berth, no Burrow, no excuses. And that performance, it changed everything heading into 2025. If you're still watching, you're clearly not just a football fan, you're a believer in grit, in stories that don't follow scripts. Subscribe now and ride with us, because this team isn't done. The offseason reload. No team attacked the offseason harder than Cincinnati. Running back, Joe Mixon is gone. Enter Chase Brown as RB1, supported by veteran Zamir White, fresh from Vegas, hungry for a bigger role. Tight end signed Gerald Everett, giving them a reliable check down with yard after catch potential. Offensive line, drafted Kingsley Suamataia, BYU, in round 1, a mauler at right tackle. Paired with Orlando Brown Jr., the bookends are finally set. Defense, added Justin Simmons at safety, a true field general. Drafted an edge rusher and cornerback for depth. Re-signed T. Higgins long-term, locking in the wide receiver trio with Chase and Iosivas. Joe Burrow is back, healthy, and pissed off. Training camp reports say Burrow added muscle, worked on velocity, and is taking more control of play installs. For the first time since 2021, he enters week 1 with a clean bill of health. Teammates say his leadership is on another level. Coaches say his release is quicker. And the league, they're nervous. The scariest offense in the AFC North. Let's break it down. QB, Joe Burrow, elite with something to prove. Wide receivers, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Andre Iosivas, arguably the best trio in the NFL. Running backs, Chase Brown and Samaje Perine, fast, powerful, and versatile. Tight ends, Mike Gesicki and Noah Fant, more reliable hands. O-line, finally cohesive, with elite anchors. Defensively, they're deep, fast, and opportunistic. Logan Wilson is the soul. Hendrickson is the hammer. The back end, aggressive and disciplined. AFC North breakdown, accurate 2025-26 insights. Baltimore Ravens, safety room depth. Shaken, veteran safety. Ardarius Washington, who re-signed as a restricted free agent, tore his Achilles in May and will miss the entire 2025 season. That puts added pressure on returning starter Kyle Hamilton and rookie Malachi Starks, plus underscored concerns in the secondary. Cornerback Arthur Mollett and safety Marcus Williams were both released this offseason, leaving gaps in the veteran presence at secondary. Free agency saw the departure of slot corner Brandon Stevens and versatile guard Patrick McCarry, weakening both the pass defense and offensive line. New additions still unproven. Ravens did add wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, cornerback Jair Alexander, and re-signed key pieces. But offensive coordinator changes and O-line health still leave Lamar's offense vulnerable. Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers is expected to start, but preseason injuries and uncertainty from backups cloud the quarterback room, reducing offensive flexibility. Despite depth signings, training camp notes reflect continued interior offensive line concerns that could be exploited by strong defensive fronts like Cincinnati's. Cleveland Browns. Questionable QB room. With 6 quarterbacks on the roster, including Joe Flacco returning and Kenny Pickett acquired, the Browns still lack a crystal-clear leader under center. While reinforcements like Cornelius Lucas and Teven Jenkins arrived, O-line cohesion remains uneven after 2024's struggles. Myles Garrett remains elite, but support is thin, and the secondary's inconsistency could be exposed by elite wide receiver duos present in Cincinnati. Cincinnati Bengals standing tall. Burrow is healthy and leading a top-tier offense with established rapport with Chase and Higgins. Re-signings like TJ Slayton Jr., BJ Hill, plus free agent Lucas Patrick add proven depth to both the defensive front and offensive line. Geno Stone, despite a down 2024, remains on an affordable one-year deal and aims to return to form under a new scheme in corner-back-heavy depth. Why Cincinnati is poised to dominate the North. Bengals retain strategic consistency while others juggle coordinators and schemes. Unlike their rivals, Cincinnati enters 2025 with clear strengths, minimal pedal shifting, and a cohesive team structure. This updated breakdown reflects roster moves, signings, injuries, and team dynamics heading into 2025, offering a real-time comparison for how the Bengals stack up against their division rivals. This season is about more than revenge, it's about completion. Burrow and this core took down Mahomes in 2021. They've battled through injuries, heartbreak, and disrespect. Now they're back, angry, healthy, and loaded. The Bengals don't want to just make noise. They want rings. Let the media hype someone else. Let the odds makers sleep, because when the smoke clears in January, the Bengals are coming. Joe Burrow is healthy, Jamar Chase is hungry, and Cincinnati is dangerous. There's one final element most outsiders don't understand: culture. In an era of ego and contracts, the Bengals are different. Chase and Higgins stayed. Logan Wilson took a team-friendly deal. Coaches don't leave. The front office doesn't panic. This isn't just a talented team, or it's a united one. Burrow doesn't seek spotlight. He seeks wins. Taylor doesn't chase trends. He builds systems. The locker room isn't divided. It's galvanized. And that's what makes them terrifying. Because when you combine elite talent with elite cohesion, you get dynasties. And Cincinnati is knocking on the door. Want proof? Look at these pivotal showdowns. Week 3 versus Ravens. Statement game at home. A revenge opportunity from 2024. Week 5 at Chiefs. Burrow versus Mahomes. The grudge match that never disappoints. Week 12 at Steelers. Classic AFC North trench war. These games build legacies. If they take 3 of those 4, they're not just playoff bound. They're likely AFC favorites. Every team dreams of bouncing back. Few actually do. The Bengals already did it once, mid-season, without their star quarterback. Now imagine what they'll do at full strength. The jungle is awake, and it smells blood. Drop your playoff predictions in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because this is the year it all comes together. The jungle never forgets, and it's about to roar.